With more than 200 victories in 9 seasons as head baseball coach at Grove City College, Matt Royer has transformed the Wolverine baseball team into one of the top programs in the conference and the region. On this episode, we trace Coach Royer's roundabout path to Grove City, find out what has made him so successful at every college level, and uncover what continues to fuel his passion to develop men of character while perennially competing for conference championships. Welcome to the podcast from Grove City College, highlighting excellence, faith, and character in the world of athletics. Welcome to Grit and Glory.
Well, Coach, at our first Grit and Glory podcast meeting, we were brainstorming about possible guests for the show. And one of the first names that was blurted out was baseball coach Matt Royer. And it didn't surprise me because I knew about your success, how you turned the program around, ECAC championship, school record 30 wins last season. But what I didn't know is when somebody said, did you know that he lives more than 400 miles from here? Lynchburg, Virginia. So as a guy who's led teams in all levels of baseball, high school to Division I, for more than 40 years, why Grove City College and why now?
Well, back in, it was 2015. I'd coached 38 years, and it looked like it was going to be the first spring the next year that I wasn't going to be coaching during the spring. And I was sitting at home, and my son was a student here. He was a senior. He was on the baseball team. He transferred in, so he was here 3 years. And I got a call from Todd Gibson, who was, if he wasn't the AD, he was going to be named in a couple of days. And they just said, look, we know a little bit about your background. We were hoping that we could talk to you about the baseball position. And he said, even if you're not interested, would you please come up here and just talk to us about how to improve and build our program? And I had a lot of respect for President McNulty. I didn't know him, never spoke to him, but he was meeting with my son, as I see him doing the cafeteria. Like every 2 weeks or something, he's having breakfast with someone and different people and talking to them about their future and all that. And I just thought, I've been at a number of schools, and I've never seen a president do that. And so I said, well, yeah, I'll certainly do that. I'll do that. So I came up, and I talked to them, and they said, we'd like you to do this. And I said, well, let me talk to my wife. I went home, and I talked to her, and she said, they told me 3 or 4 times that it's interim, and it's for 4 months. And I go, okay. So I told my wife, they're going to get me a place to stay. I'm going to eat in the cafeteria. What do you think? And she goes, I think you should do it. It's Travis's last semester, my son. You'll get to be with him. He had a job waiting for him in Washington, D.C., and he'll be leaving. And so I think it would be a great thing for him and you. And I said, okay. So I agreed to do it. And of course, we won 27 games. We were picked to finish last in the conference. And at one time, we were like 14-2 in the conference. But we made the playoffs, and then we had the ECAC. And of course, they said, we want you to stay. And I said, well, I'm not moving. I've been married for however many years it was, 30-some. And I said, I want to stay married, because if I go home and say we're moving again, that could be a problem. My wife loves it. We live in Forest, Virginia, just outside of Lynchburg, and we have the Blue Ridge Mountains there. My wife loves it. She loves her job. So then I went and asked her again, and I said, I'm going to be away for the whole second semester, and plus the fall, 4, 5, 6 weeks in the fall. And she said, I think you should do it. I go, what do you, and I was like, what do you mean? You don't want me around here? And she said, I came up to a game, and at that time I'd been out of college baseball for 8 years. And she said, I haven't seen you that happy in 8 years. So when she said that, I love baseball. I love baseball. It's what I've done. I've been involved in it since I was 8 years old. I'm 66 now. I love working with young people, and I love the school. I mean, I just love being here. I love the people I work for. I love the people I work with. The kids are incredible, and so I go home, and when I'm home, I'm home, and I'm still working, still on the computer, still recruiting, but it's like the perfect situation for me at my age, and I get to do what I love.
Wow.
At a place that I really care deeply about.
Yeah, fantastic. As I mentioned, your coaching career in baseball spans more than 40 years now. You've coached at every level, high school, D3, D2, D1, and had amazing success. When I read your bio, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, where are the holes in this? It's like you've been a winner everywhere you've gone. What is the key? What's been the key to your success?
The key to that is taking jobs that are horrible.
Really?
No, not horrible. That's the wrong word.
No.
But that had not been successful.
Yeah.
I never got a job because I was Matt Royer. I got a job. I wrote 40 letters my senior year of college to what I thought were the 40 top baseball programs, Division I baseball programs in America, to be a graduate assistant. I don't even know if we called it a graduate assistant back then, but to go and work on my master's and to coach. I got 2 positive responses. One was from the University of Arizona, Jerry Kindle at the time, who back then the best baseball was Arizona, Arizona State. You had Stanford. John Elway was playing center field back then in the pack, and that was a positive one. Now I played for Al Worthington, who pitched in the big leagues for 12, 14 years, and he was a pitching coach for the Twins. But I played for him in college, and Jerry Kindle was his roommate. So there's connections there, and they said it's total voluntary. It's in Tucson, Arizona. I grew up outside of Philadelphia, but so I had to go. I transferred in, so I had to go an extra semester to do my student teaching. And so a Christian school in Maryland called me and said, hey, we had somebody, we need someone for the half a year. I took that job just because I was home in December, and they needed that in January. I think my starting pay was $6,000 a year. I stayed for another year, and then I thought, if I'm going to do this thing, I got to increase my worth or value. Plus, I love baseball. So I called up Coach Kindle. I said, does that offer still stand? He said, yes. So I went to Arizona. So I had Jerry Kindle on my resume. I played for Al Worthington. So when I applied for these jobs, it's not like there were a lot of people going after them. I moved my family. I've done some crazy things. You look back on it, but I can see God's hand in it all. We just had our first child. I was coaching at my high school, Springford High School, where I graduated from, and I did that for 6 years. We had a lot of success, and my buddy from Chicago calls me and says, hey, there's a junior college job open here. And I go, yeah. I go, what's it pay? He said, $3,500. I said, wait, you want me to come out there? Yeah. So we moved halfway across the country for a job paying $3,500 so I could become a college coach at a junior college. And then and with the first grandchild on my wife's side. Then I worked 1 year there, and I've never stayed somewhere just 1 year, but it was not what I would expect it to be. And my wife said, the Wheaton job's open. Do you want to apply for it? I said, no. And she said, why not? I said, because I'll get it. And that was not in a cocky way. It's that it was a program winning single-digit games. It was the 30th program. They had all full-time coaches except this was part-time, and this one paid $4,500. So I did it, and I got the job. So I spent 3 years there. It was mainly just coaching with what you got. I don't know that I recruited a whole lot of people there, which, by the way, baseball brings you in the path of amazing people. I had a senior, they had 2 seniors come in and meet the coach and interview, and they played for me that year, and one was Todd Beamer.
Wow.
So, the Let's Roll guy from the terrorist attacks. And I didn't know that for a couple of days after that happened, and then I kept hearing the name, and I go, holy cow, that was Todd. So anyway, I spent 3 years there. We improved the program. I think we set a school record for wins. Right. And then a friend called and said, Kutztown, this job's open. Division II state school. I said, okay. Is it full-time? No. I said, I'm not interested. So they called me and I said, well, will you fly me in? Because I'm not going to drive 13 hours, So we did. They said, in 2 weeks, we'll let you know. The next day they called me. And Kutztown went 28, before I got there, they went 28 straight years without finishing over 500. So that's not good. You got to finish over 500 by accident once a year. So the point is, these were programs that weren't having success, and I couldn't screw them up anymore. That's kind of the way I looked at it. But things just, it was my passion, because Kutztown became, told my wife, this is part-time, but I'm going to treat it like a full-time job. I was there all the time. and I had a great wife. I mean, she's an occupational therapist. When we moved, a lot of times she could work 1 day a week, she could work 2 days, she could work 7 days a week if she wanted to. And Kutztown was near my hometown, so I had the advantage of recruiting that I knew all the high school coaches in a big area, in the Reading area, in Coatesville, Westchester, Downingtown. I went to Springford, and the recruiting my very first recruit was a guy. I gave him $500. We had no scholarship, very little scholarship money, and he was a 6th-round pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that was my first recruit.
Nice.
And then after that, I was happy where I was at, and then I got a call about another position at Liberty, and it was me and 2 other guys that were former Major League players, and they chose me. So we moved again down to Lynchburg, and when I was finished there, I didn't want to move my family anymore. So
Took a high school job.
I'm sorry.
You took a high school job?
Well, man, that's a long story too. But I ended up doing that. I took a year. My friend from Chicago said, my son has a real good team. Come out and coach them. I said, well, I can't. He goes, well, we have a new coach first time. Just come out and be his assistant. I said, well, you got to check that with him and everything. Well, come on out. I said, he goes, you can stay with me. I haven't seen you for a while. I said, so okay. So this is the first spring after Liberty. And I went out. It's in the northwest suburbs, which, I mean, the population and the schools were nicer than college campuses. Anyway, we won the state championship, which, so then I went back home, and then I had parents who were getting elderly. My parents lived till they were 91 and 89, but they were my dad, Eastern PA, lived in the same town they were married 69 years, and I'm down in Lynchburg. So every time there was a problem, I had to drive up. And so I was up there a lot, and then my dad lost his license, so I stayed up there a little bit, and I was doing lessons up there. I was more well-known in Eastern PA, and I couldn't believe how that exploded. I was doing lessons every weekend and 10 hours a day. And but so then I took a high school job there, and that was just incredible. I could just see the Lord's hand in that. I got to know these young people, and they were experiencing success for their first time. And my son came up with me for his senior year. He wanted to be with me, so we stayed together at my parents', and he made some of the best friends of his life there. We went to the state playoffs 4 years in a row. We won a district title, and just being around those kids, it just energized me. They were high school kids, so I've been working with college kids, and I thought, this won't be as good, but they were just like sponges soaking everything in. And then I'm saying, well, this is it. And then I get that phone call in 2016. And of course, it was for 4 months, and it's 9 years later. So
There you are. Wow.
that's a long story.
Yeah, but and what it answered, the question you answered there was how you got the jobs. But you've been kind of humble in the success you've had, because it's one thing to turn a program from single-digit wins to like going 500, but you're going from single-digit wins to like school record in wins at every stop. High school, D2.
And Kutztown, my last 2 years we went to the World Series, the Division II World Series.
Yeah, I mean you won conference championships
really
there.
special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what's the answer to that?
You have to love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk, passion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just passionate. I'm the kind of guy that if I see somebody I kind of know, I'd go on the other side of the street. I didn't know. But when I'm doing baseball, I'm like this outgoing, he doesn't shut up person. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand that because I'm just kind of behind the scenes when I'm in a new situation and everything. But I just love the game. I've been fortunate enough. We all plagiarize. Every coach plagiarizes. I was going to the national conventions and just soaking it all in. And if I wanted to learn, I went to listen to the top college coaches, mm-hmm. not always the top professional coaches, mm-hmm. Because colleges, you really got to be a teacher. I think my gift in terms of baseball is I can watch someone and I can see the flaw. So you have to be I think unless you're at a place that already has tradition and has people wanting to come there, you have to be a good teacher. And mm-hmm. I feel like that's my gift, to break down the skill to its smallest level, in when I was studying to be a teacher, I remember the whole method. You show them the whole thing, you break it down into parts, and then you put it all together. And I still work with kids, and I go, just try that. Boom, boom, boom. They're hitting the top of the net in the cage. I hit the top of the net. I go, no, we want to hit the back. Just lower your shoulder 1 inch. Boom, and they just look at me and smile, and that's like incredible, you know. So I love the game. I have to compete. I was doing lessons. I probably would have made more money if I just did lessons all year round. I know I would have made more money. I have to compete. It's just in me. I love competition. I actually loved. I remember as a little kid, we played pickup football, you know, down at the ball yard, and I would pick the worst guys because I wanted to try and you know, it's like, well, the expectations are you lose, so you can't go anywhere but up, you know. And I just love to compete, and I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend in Jeff Mincy.
Right.
And I was talking to him recently about you and your success, and one of the things he says, I think a big part of his success, he used a quote from a movie, Woodlawn. It was released in 2015. And he said, in that movie it said, when you play for yourself, you can do great things. But when you play for something higher than yourself, that's when extraordinary things can happen.
Wow. Well, that means a lot coming from Jeff.
Yeah.
He was the reason. I lived in Eastern PA my whole life. I never heard of Grove City College. Never heard of it. And Jeff was the catcher at Liberty when I played. I played second base, pitched a little near the end. Great guy. He was drafted his junior year, I think by the Pirates, and he came back for his senior year, so I got to play with him that senior year. He dislocated my finger.
It's a true story. He told me it on the throwdown.
Did he tell you this story? He remembered that?
Right.
I had an old glove. I should have had a newer glove, and I was playing shortstop at the time, and he threw down, and I caught it, slapped the tag down, and I looked up, and my finger was going like that because he threw it so hard.
From catcher to second base.
Yes.
That's a gun.
And I went in the dugout, and the trainer just went boom, and I was screaming. I go, okay, it's straight now. But I remember that. But I was out in Chicago for the 4 years. I was at Wheaton, so we'd come back home. My wife was from Fleetwood, and I was from 50 miles from Kutztown, where I live, and she was 5 minutes. So we'd go home. And on the way home one time, I found out Jeff was there, so we stayed over because I hadn't seen him for years. And he drove me up on campus, and that was, you know, it was years after that. But that's the first time, and he was the admissions director for 21 years.
Fantastic director here, great friend of the college still.
And
yes,
great guy. Yeah. He's got a beautiful family. He's now in Charlotte, and I think his children are there with the grandchildren. So, and he was a California guy. So for a California guy to end up at Grove City, that was quite a story too.
Building on the faith note that Jeff mentioned, I talked to one of your players too, Nick Gaitis, who I believe is starting in a couple hours here.
Yes.
Your game.
Yes.
Lefty, he's had a great career. I was talking to him about you and your style, and he said he called you a very direct coach, but a loving coach. Everybody's bought in. You're passionate. You lead. I mean, all that. And he said you close every, I believe, practice and game with prayer. And he says you actually teach lessons through your prayers too. So
I pray the gospel
when
I pray, because there's maybe somebody there that hasn't heard it or understood it. Yeah. And I don't shove anything down people's throats, but we do that. And Nick's being kind. I am direct. He's being very accurate. I tell these guys, I go, I could never coach basketball because it's so fast-paced and everything. I said, but look, I feel like I'm type A. I know that. You make a mistake. I'm still working on it after 45 years, not to yell it out on the field, but I still do it because I think if I don't tell him to back up third, it's going to happen again this inning, and it's not, but I think it might. And I tell him, I go, look, when the pace of the game is going, I don't have time to tell you the 8 things that you did great during the game and the one thing that you need to correct. So I get right to it. And I tell him that, and I said, you have to be able to take that. And but I do think you do a lot of good things, because to me, the greatest compliment I can give my players is writing their name in the lineup. So, and I always tell them, if I'm talking to you, even if you're not a starter, if I'm talking to you all the time and I'm going, I can't leave if you're working on your swing and say, yeah, that's good, when I know it's not good. I got to stay there and get it right. I said, you need to worry when I'm not talking to you at all. If I'm not saying anything, I either think you're perfect or I think you're beyond help. So don't take it, and it's not criticism, it's what do you have to do to to become the best possible you in the game of baseball. That's my goal, what I'm trying to get to. So, yes, I'm sure I've had players that, I remember after my first year, one of the players, I didn't see it until he was gone, a senior, first year here. We won 27 games, and they said, well, how do you explain it? He goes, tough but fair. And I thought, well, that's a compliment.
That, yeah.
That's a compliment. Not tough in an ugly way, but tough like, let's get it done here. So, but that's accurate by Nick. So
Okay.
he's telling the truth.
At 66 and a half years old, are you still learning things from your players that are helping you be the best version of Matt Royer?
Absolutely, without question. About 4 days ago, I got them all together at the end of practice because we have some guys that come late for class. I wanted them all to be there, and I apologized and I asked them to forgive me. I said, guys, this year's been incredible, just with rain, and what happened is the outside things, just rescheduling games, the amount of work it is, and then you love the game, you want to coach the game, but you got a lot of off-field things happening. Unless you've done it, you have no idea what a day is like. You have academic issues with your kids, which I have very, very, very few of here. This year I'm having more. I have 15 freshmen. I've never had that many freshmen on a team. So I have a couple guys with that, and talking with the parents, talking with the counselors here, that type of thing. And I think I was getting beat down and I was getting frustrated easier. So I go, and this happens to me almost every year, at least one time a year. I'm going through the year, and if you're losing, you want to fix it, and you're frustrated, you want to be better. If you're winning, you're pumped because you're winning, and you just want to keep winning. And it seems like at least once a year it starts getting away from me. And I go home, here I'm by myself, and I'm going, whoa, what are you doing this for? Why are you doing this? And I go, I'm doing it for the right reason. I'm doing it because I love baseball. And I go, wow, you got to get back. You got to get back to center or however people want to call it. And I just said, guys, I've been snapping more than usual. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And I do. I said, it was, I jumped on 2 guys this year for body language. Like, we tell them to move one and they go like that out in the field. And I don't like that. And while I'm sitting at home, and I told him this when I apologized, I go, you know who has the worst body language on the team? Me. Because I'm down at third base going, like, why'd you swing at that,
Yeah.
And I go, wow, what kind of example have I been there? So I did that. I felt I needed to. I have 15 new guys. I didn't want them to think that, hey, this guy, he's impossible to please or anything like that. It was just, and it's not easy being away from home for that long. And at the end of the year, I am 66. You're getting tired and things. So, and I look at them, and these guys, they love baseball just like I do, and they want to be the best they can be. And I got to remember. And when I did clinics, and people would help me, I tell my guys when we do clinics, I said, everyone here, no matter how bad they are, is going to do something that you can praise them for. And I would give that advice to other people. And usually once a year, I got to think and get back to that and go, hey, you've been too much on the wrong things. They're doing a lot of things right. So that helps me with the players. The players here give me hope for America. I have hope. Our country is, again, I'd sound like an old person, but where it's headed and what it's doing and the things that are issues now, you just shake your head at. But the kids here, this is a high academic. Kids are coming here for a career. I have allowed every player in my time here said, Coach, I got a big exam. Could I leave early? Yes. Coach, I got a study group for this major exam coming up. Yes. And I have not said no once. And and they give me hope because they're bright and there's some sharp kids here. Yeah.
Nothing connects with people of any age like honesty, transparency, humility. You show it all, Coach. Like, I can see that. Yeah.
I'm transparent.
Yeah.
I really am. You know where I stand on things, and I really do. I love the kids, and I love to compete, and I think it's important to win.
Yeah.
It's important to win.
Okay. Well, on that note, give us a recap of this season. We're recording this end of April, 2024. You're in the mix again, but end of this season, looking ahead to next year, are things still looking bright for the Wolverine?
Well, we're starting to lose some really good people.
Okay.
We've lost this past year. There were a few that I thought we might get back, a couple fifth-year guys, but they made a decision to move on, which was fine. I get that. So we're losing some good pitchers, and we got to find them. But I've had one or two guys just contact me and said, "Hey, I'm coming to Grove City next year." I go, "You're coming? I don't even know who you are." I said, and I look and I go, "This guy's throwing 86 miles an hour, and I don't even know him, and he's coming."
Yeah.
So it's someone to work with and hopefully improve and increase their velocity. So sometime Coach Worthington, when I played for him, he would pray guys in. That's what he said. His recruiting, I'd pray them in. And I always remembered that. I go, wow. And sometimes we're working. I'm going, wait a second. You have not because you ask not.
Right.
So God's blessed, and we just work with the guys that choose here and the guys that we go out and see and encourage them to come here and give us a chance.
Yeah, and a new baseball field could be on the horizon. How big would that be for recruiting?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge for recruiting. It's huge for our practices.
Yes.
It's huge for, like right now, today we're going to play our 10th game in 10 days because of all we had flooding here in the Pittsburgh area and the rain and rain and rain. We got backed up. Last week we played a team that was playing we played 20 games. They were playing their 18th and 20th game. 19th and 20th game. We were playing our 11th and 12th. So that won't happen. If it rains that day, you'll still play. If the sun comes out in the afternoon, it'll help in so many ways, and we need it. And it'll be, hopefully we have it next spring. That's the plan. If all goes to plan, but it'll be a great blessing for our baseball program, for the kids that come here.
Love it. Well, Coach, you got to run. Good luck today. We appreciate your talent, your heart, your humility, your perseverance, everything about you. Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Coach.
Thanks for tuning into Grove City College's Grit and Glory podcast. To follow our varsity sports teams online, visit athletics.gcc.edu. To find out how you can support the new athletic facility projects and the Impact 150 campaign, visit gcc.edu/impact150. Don't forget to listen to Grit and Glory wherever you listen to podcasts. More episodes featuring excellence, faith, and character in the world of athletics are coming up. Until then, I'm Joe Klimchak. Bye for now.